Okay, everybody, welcome to a special edition of What Would You Do If? And today we're discussing happiness in the workplace in relation to International Happiness Week. So a topic we've all got quite strong opinions on and how it's changed over recent years. And we are lucky enough to have captured two of our Gen Z podcasters in Connor and Jess to provide a little bit of perspective, I guess from a younger generation, if I can use that term loosely, perspective on, what happiness means for those guys in the workplace, as well as what we think it should be as employers and I guess business leaders.
Where do you think International Happiness Week came from? Like, it's an important thing.
But there's a week for everything at the minute. It feels like every other week there's something that people are celebrating.
Would you not think it's a bit Gen Z at International Happiness Week?
Feels like it.
At least you guys admit it.
Feels like it, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's actually quite a nice thing.
No, it is a very nice thing because I think it fits well in with mental health, and I'm all for it. By the way, I'm all for it. I'm just playing devil's advocate, and we have got an international week for everything at the moment.
But I think happiness is quite a nice one. Because surely it's quite nice. I think it's quite nice personally to kind of reflect on. Reflect on what the good things that you do have.
It's good
in
for
work.
awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, but for the good things that you do in work. 'Cause I think a lot of the time we can spend a lot of time focusing on the negatives or the stress or the strain of work, and I think sometimes it's quite nice to actually sit back and go, all right, we are getting a lot of stuff right, I think.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I was going to say, not leading the witness, but we are getting a lot of stuff right, and it's quite nice sometimes to realise what those things are and kind of reflect on it, I guess. So yeah, it sounds very Gen Z, it probably isn't it? Somebody's probably created it somewhere, but there's enough swell of activity to make it something. And I guess maybe social media has made that kind of thing easy as well, maybe in terms
Definitely
of
does help.
sharing things like that, hashtagging it, creating a kind of a swell of activity behind a kind of movement was the phrase I was going to use, that kind of thing. So, but I guess, all right, so let's take that. What does happiness mean to you in the workplace? So I guess, because I'm coming at this from the angle of an employer, as a business leader, as somebody senior in a business now. I still find that strange saying that, but that's my figure. So we're building structures and teams and cultures around what we think, and hopefully you feel involved in that because we try to make you involved in it. But in the sense of what does it genuinely mean to you when you hear happiness in the workplace? What springs to mind?
I think for me, it's sort of like the drive to keep on going when things are like kind of tough.
Yeah,
it sounds pretty cheesy, but like, it's the things that keep you here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can have times where you're stressed and the workload's going to be high, but the happiness will be, your team, the atmosphere in the office, the culture. Mm-hmm. And then for me, that's really good for me because it keeps me sort of wanting to stay here instead of just bailing out, really.
Okay. And that kind of stuff you feel like does keep you going then, I guess, in this kind of...
Yeah, I think it's quite similar to me, actually. I think if when you're working in a place, to be happy, it kind of revolves around the work as well, but especially the people. If you're working with people who are a bit like, don't really care about you, like don't help you progress in anything, then you kind of don't want to get into the work.
Yeah. I think that's quite interesting as well, because I guess your generation's known for being flaky. Yeah. So, no, I was going to put it out there to say that everybody watching it will be thinking it. So in the sense of you guys are known for being flaky, so, when the times do get tough or you have to dig in and do some work, a lot of your generation is known for kind of going, I can't do that, nothing in it for me, I'm going to go.
Or I think they always then pick on something that they're unhappy about. I think they concentrate sometimes too much about the bad things rather than the good. So I think they don't sit there and evaluate the whole situation.
But I think we're seeing more and more people leaving and then coming back, or wanting to come back, or have a desire to come back, because they realise when they go somewhere else.
I was just about to say
the grass isn't green. It was the saying goes, but in the sense of there's a lot of stuff that we do, and other businesses do. But I can only use ours as an example, where I do think we're trying to make it a nice place to work. Trying.
Yeah, but I think sometimes my frustration really is sometimes we go too far. I think sometimes we go too far with it.
I don't think you can go too far if you've got the right people in the team. I've always said that. So in the sense of which is that it's bold.
I'm not saying we do.
I think we do. I think people will criticise us now for having unlimited holidays, flexible working, a free bar in the office. Bring your dog in, work when you want, work an hour, whatever hours you want. I had the conversation this morning with HSBC. They were saying it to me like, how on earth do you do that? How do you police it? That's ridiculous. You wasn't making any money. Like, it all comes down to the individuals you've got in the team. So as much as the team can bring the happiness and the fun side to it, like if you trust your team, then you should be able to do anything with them
Yeah,
if they're clear on the boundaries.
It's about culture, then, isn't it? Really, more.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the happiness stuff, a lot other than it being softer stuff around, the team's crucial. Like, you know, I've never worked anywhere where I've not got along with the team or enjoyed working with people, and maybe that's why we try to build the culture that we have here. The influences that I've had during my career, but okay. So I guess marketing particularly. I'm looking at you two. 'Cause I think it's really interesting to get your opinions on these kind of things. Because I know me and Chris discuss this over a bit in our own time.
We do.
But in the sense of, so you're looking at a potential employer, okay? So there's a salary on the table, there's a role on the table. I'm assuming you take those into consideration. Hopefully, but they're at table stakes. You're going to be paid a market rate salary most likely, unless you're doing something crazy.
Yeah.
And the role will be pretty similar. So an account exec role is an account exec role at most places, probably.
Yeah.
Beyond that, what is it that attracts you to that employer that might be? Can you assess the potential happiness at that stage?
I don't think we can discount that. I think when you take those the role, like I kind of get where you come from. The role's pretty much the same no matter you go. I don't think you can ever discount the money. So I always think it's interesting to hear their point of view where the money's concerned. Because what would you be willing to sacrifice for more money? Do you know what I mean? Where happiness is concerned, because I think this is in general life.
Where's the balance?
Yeah, where does a switch? What would you be willing to get rid of for more money? That's a big question, I think, because
you're putting a price on happiness.
You are putting a price on happiness, but people do it. So where is it?
Well, it's interesting because today's my 1 year anniversary here.
Happy anniversary, darling.
Thank you. And
cards in the post.
Yeah, thanks. But it was interesting because when I was first looking for my first job, salary was like the big thing on my mind.
Yeah.
So now that I've been here for a year, I've seen what I sort of value more. And I think what we do, like the socials here, getting on with the team, so more like the culture is more important now.
Yeah.
Like the bar's lovely, but I think the main focus for me is having a good working environment.
But I think that's exactly. I echo that sentiment. The bar's cool. I love it. It's great.
They help.
No,
it's nice to help.
It's great, but like it's ultimately a piece of wood with a shiny top on it.
Yeah.
That's not.
And there is a bar across the road if you.
It's a bit more costly than ours. But in the sense of that for me is like how I view that. That isn't our business. It's a piece of wood with a shiny top on it that you can go. It's a desk ultimately. Yeah. So that's not going to make or break our culture, staff retention, ability to attract and retain people, motivate, inspire people like yourselves to stick with us.
Yeah.
You know, I don't say it. I want you guys to build a career with us, not have a 2 year or a 1 year or a 6 month stopgap or whatever these bloody cycles are that people do these days. And we're getting pretty good at that, I think. I don't for a minute think it's more than that. Like I'm not. We slapped that in to make it look a bit cool and make it look.
What about you, Jess? What was your Connor said when he was looking? Obviously, the money was there when he first started. But what was your?
Well, when I came through like with an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
so
you did. Apprentices.
I think
taking over the world.
But I do think that's the best way to best way to go into the market now. I think if I was your age now, I've said this before on a previous Gen Z podcast that was a guest on. I think that's the way forward for the market, personally.
No, definitely. I think as well because there were so many different companies there trying to get you to come in. I think you can dress something up as much as you want. People were coming in saying, we've got a bar, we've got a slide, we've got a ball pit and stuff like this, but when are you going to have time to go in a ball pit?
That's quite interesting actually, because I guess the Juice Academy route that you came through, where we found you, I'll call it, where you found us. You can look at it however you want to. But that process, I guess, that speed dating process, I'd be really interested to be a fly on the wall. But I really have not done it. I'd be really interested to be a fly on the wall to hear the spiel that employers are giving people.
It almost feels like bribes.
Yeah, but that's what it'd feel like. So is it a case of, we've got loads of international travel, we've got a really cool bar, there's free drinks, loads of socials, or is it, we can further your career, we can enrich your learning, we can make you grow as an individual, give you experiences that nobody else can?
Yeah.
I bet it's not the latter. I don't know, I'm guessing.
Well,
I might be wrong.
At the start of it, they all come in saying, this is our business, this is what we do, we're all sat in the same room.
Yeah.
And that's like for the first part of it.
Sure.
And then we all go into that speed dating section where we're all sat around in this little circle being filtered in.
Yeah.
And it's
like speed,
yeah, and that's when I think people start to be like, right, this is what we do. We're like, they'll either say, we're for you. Is that what you like?
Yeah.
Are we what you're looking for? Or if not, then that's fine. And
Does money even come into it at that point then, Jess? Do you talk money at that point, or is it just benefits?
The thing is, with the apprenticeship side of things, it's more of a given reward to an extent for that that entry level,
which I like,
which you can enhance, can't you?
Which I like actually, because
you don't have to pay base, because
you're picking a business based purely on how you want to go in your career, isn't it?
Objectively, yeah. And the same thing from the employee's perspective. You're not going, oh, that's 19, that's 20. I'll say that, you know what I mean? But your options, that's not the way you look at it. You're looking at the candidate and whether you think they've got the potential to fit with your business and everything. It's a really interesting way of doing it, and it's intense by all accounts.
Yes.
For everybody I've spoke to who's been involved with it, but then we've picked up 2 amazing candidates out of it. So it's worked really well for us. So. Anyway, we're going off piece like we normally do. But in the sense of, so let's get back to happiness in the workplace. So what are the key things? What are the key things you look for? And I look at you first, rather than picking on you two all the time.
I think I always look at the clients, how they work. I think one of the biggest things for me is how long people have been there. I think how long people have been there is a.
I think that's a good or a bad thing.
I think it's twofold. I think it's a really good thing, but also I can understand why people might see it as bad. I think if people have been there a long time, there's a sense of family. I've heard a few people say, and I think that's the biggest thing about BDB is a big sense of family here. So I think that always attracts you, and you get a feel for the place. And I always think you do need some people who've been there 10 years. Some people have been there 5, some people have been there 1, some people have been there 2 or 3 months. You get a really good mix.
As long as they're the right people.
As long as the right people, yeah.
Yeah, staying for the sake of it doesn't do anybody any favours. But no. I do think, I think it's good. I think it's good in the team here that we've got that mix. We've got people that have been here virtually since the start, still almost in a way, not far off, who are still our highest performers, and that's the difference in my mind.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Celine. I think Celine, like, she's absolutely amazing at her job.
Yeah.
But she's been here for the longest out of everybody.
Yeah.
So for me, she's an absolute role model, shining star, somebody
100%.
for anybody coming up through the business that people want to emulate. And how on earth has she stuck it? It's unbelievable to think she's been here 20 plus years or whatever it is. I mean,
I think it's the ability to evolve with the company as well instead of.
Well, that's what she's been brilliant at. So I've seen it since I've joined. I've seen the last 5 or 6 years. We've been through a lot of change in that 5 or 6 years. A lot of changes within that 5 or 6 years. And she's been so supportive, and I say roll with the punches and not punches, roll with the change and all that kind of stuff. But always backed it up and always moved with it. And I think that's probably what her biggest strength is.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because the unlimited holidays, it just doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Like the unlimited holidays, it's amazing. It's for everyone, but
I suppose we're getting into what attracts you to the job. Yeah. What creates happiness in the workplace? Because we're interviewing people at the minute and they're saying, they like the fact we've got a sustainability arm to the business. They like the fact we've got unlimited holidays. That's what's attracting to the job. That isn't necessarily going to deliver them happiness in the role, is it?
Yeah.
So when we talk about what in a working environment makes you feel happy or brings happiness to your life in work. Because let's face it, there's an awful lot of time. You spend more time at work than you do
at home.
Any other activity.
I think for me, variety is a big one.
Yeah.
Variety is a big one. Considering my personality types are huge.
Yeah.
So plenty of variety. That's why I like the travel here. I love the travel here because we go to so many different places.
Well, that's why I love the clients here. Yeah, it's one of my things. The clients,
different clients,
and the people, types. But the clients deliver so much variety.
Yeah.
Sectors and all the rest of it. But then the people, everybody's different. I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
Even though some people are similar and all the rest of it, and you strike friendships with people, but everybody's really different.
We've got a mix of characters.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's good. We've got loud people, quiet people, the international vibe that we've got in the office as well, with different, different native Europeans primarily, I guess, who work in the team. They bring a different edge.
Yeah. What do you think's going to? Obviously, I think we've had a dramatic reiteration of what happiness means in the workplace recently. The last 5 years, I think that's come through from your generation coming into work. What do you think happiness in the workplace is going to look like in 5 years' time? If we were sat there doing a podcast in 4 or 5 years' time, where's it going to go?
Tough one.
I think responsibility is like a really big one for me.
Okay.
Because coming in from uni, I felt very sort of like juveniles or like underexperienced around you guys. Yep. Obviously, Jess has been here through the apprenticeship, so she's already got more experience than me. But then I think from day one, I was given quite a bit of responsibility, and that sort of validated me in a way.
Yeah, but I think
that made me feel happy.
That's that's the culture and that's the tone of the people that are running the business. And I mean that in the sense of, if you're brilliant at something, the best thing I can do, it's Branson, I think, that says, is get out of your way.
Yeah.
So I don't hire you to be a lackey or a T-boy or somebody doing basics. I want you to do something that I can't do. So the fact that Sam sat quietly over there doing all the recording. Hey, Sam. I'm going to start calling you producer Sam. But in the sense of, Sam's over there doing all the video recording. He's settled. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with any of this kit. But
we just rock up and sit here and record.
Yeah, but that's brilliant.
But then Sam does all the magic
sets up all the
before and
editing and all the rest of it. So you hire everybody into different roles, but it's pockets of skills. But then it's up to the employer to give you guys the autonomy to sink or swim.
Yeah.
And hopefully you don't sink because you should be supported. But I want you to feel like you might sink, and then somebody will catch you, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's romantic, this, but in the sense of that's the way I view it, and that was always what worked well for me. I think that that they have given you your own podcast and said, "Go on then." Like gloves off.
It's a really good podcast because everyone should listen to it. By the way, the Gen Z one. If you're not already
plug.
Cheeky plug.
But as I always say to you, when I listen to it, it always surprises me on the different views. I just find it absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. It always amazes me what you've got an opinion on, what you've got knowledge on, and I think the openness with how you voice the opinions. So like that, all right, what makes me happy in work, and I'll come back to this one. I've been thinking about this recently because I've been posed it about 10 times this week, is watching other people develop. And this sounds really twee and cheesy, and everybody might think, oh, it's not, it's money, it's not, I promise you. The thing that really motivates me and really gives me a kick is seeing you guys, the team, get better and better and better. So listening to your first podcast and listening to your 10th, 15th podcast, you're miles better.
Yeah, worlds.
And by the way, so are we.
I'm going to agree with you.
By the way, so are we. If you listen to our first podcast is terrible comparatively to our last one. So, but that improvement that comes with it, and watching other team members be in meetings now, who I've known as an account exec, now being senior account managers, account directors, and leading meetings, and they're so strategically minded, and they're owning the room, and everybody in the room is listening to every word, hanging off the words that come out of the mouth. And these are people who didn't have a Scooby-Doo what they were doing 5, 6, 7 years ago. I think that's amazing. But I think that's what, honestly, my biggest thing is that.
Yeah, I suppose yours has changed. Again, if you've gone through the gears, haven't you, over the years? Because I think that if 25-year-old Matt would have answered that differently, wouldn't he? And
I know, 17, 18-year-old Matt, when he started work, would have answered it differently. Yeah. So at that point, I wanted money. I wanted money. And that was all that mattered to me. And then quite quickly you work out it's not all about that. I'm not saying it's not. There's definitely a bloody big element of that in any job. Anybody that says money isn't a factor is a liar, in my opinion, unless they've got a lot of money already. Yeah. That's a different kind of thing.
I feel like we don't have to worry about that because we've got pretty competitive salaries. So
we'll never pay less. We hope to be slightly ahead of the market for what we try and do here. And if it moves, we give people increases. So kind of take that out of the picture a bit.
So the salary is almost a given. So it's like, what else?
Yeah, unless somebody will start a bidding war for you and somebody goes, I'll pay you $5 more, but then ask yourself why are they paying you $5 more to do a job that nobody else is in the market. It's probably because nobody wants the job or the culture's terrible or whatever it is. Yeah. But I think it definitely changes as you get older, and it changes as you change your role. It changes when you start nurturing and coaching others, and it changes when you're responsible for other people, and then ultimately it changes now because you're responsible for everybody. And that's how I view it, that my responsibility lies with everybody. So the happiness of me is mainly watching the team grow, watching our headcount grow, watching how many lives we can impact and genuinely improve. That's our mission statement, and that's why we've got it like that. It sounds really twee when you say it out loud, but...
Do you feel the happiness levels go up and down the company? Can you feel that?
I think you're naive to think in any job they don't. So one of my biggest things is, there's a proper Instagram quote, and it's something along the lines of, do something you love and you'll never work another day in your life. That's utter bullshit. Like, I love this company and I love what we do, and I am grafting. Like, hard, like really, really hard, sacrificing other things, sacrificing friends, family, kids. So is that, am I working? I am working. That's what I mean. So I think
I've always looked at that quote, and I always thought the same. And it's like, I understand what people say.
No, but it creates this romantic idea, and I think it's really misleading for you guys as the younger generation. You're both well-educated and bright people, so hopefully you can see through it. Thanks. But I think for a lot of people, not being serious, but I think a lot of people will read that and think, I've not found it yet. I've not found my thing because I still have to work. I still feel like I'm going to work, and like you never don't feel like you're going to work. And I don't know, I've not found anybody that really means that.
So we've covered this before on previous podcasts, where I think, I mean, it is linked into happiness. I think most people in your generation think that being an entrepreneur is going to make you happy. Do you know what I mean? I think that I always look at it and go, a lot of your generation have been brought on like, don't work another day in your life. If you do something you love, you don't have to work for anyone. You can work for yourself, which I'm a massive believer in starting your own business and all that kind of stuff. I'm all for it. But we've talked about it, haven't we? We are going through a generation, which is your generation of, who watches Gary Vee and they watch Steve Bartlett and they watch all these guys who've made it, and they've seen the likes of.
We're going massively off piece, but I'll ask it because you're here. Do you think being an entrepreneur is like a job? Like a thing you pick?
It's happiness though, isn't it? It's about being happy.
No, I'm laughing. It makes me laugh. Like, we always end up going like this. But in the sense of, well, like, you know, you could be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, a marketeer, an accountant, a lawyer, or an entrepreneur. Is it like I always get the impression these days it's like a thing. It's like I'm going to grow up to be an entrepreneur, and you go like, what?
I don't know about that. I've never considered being an entrepreneur.
I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Right. Okay.
I think when you're going through high school and college, you have all these like ideas, like you said, you see all these big people making it and like getting really great jobs. And I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like I've wanted to be about 15 million different things.
You've done a few different ones since you've been here.
Yeah, exactly. And I still don't know. I think the fact that you're not, like for me especially, the fact that you don't feel trapped in a job.
Yeah.
Especially here, is great, because I think once you start feeling trapped, you.
But I think that ties into the structure of the team and everything. And you've had 2 or 3 different roles since you've been here.
3 roles.
I think we're quite fortunate in that extent that we're not siloed into a certain service line or a certain discipline. That we are truly integrated. So we've said to you, well, come in and we'll work out what you're good at, and you'll work out what you like doing, and we'll try and find you a hole. And I personally think at the minute you're in the absolute ideal hole for what you should be doing, and I also think you are. So I'm not genuinely like I've watched you all go down different routes, and if you think I'm not watching, I always am. But you're monitoring your development and seeing where you've ended up. You two, I think, have found I found your home, I guess, of where I think for now where you should be.
Yeah, almost as if like the role has found you.
But a lot of other employers can't offer that because they're an SEO agency or a PR agency or something else, where we're not that here. But I think that's up to the business leaders to set that as a thing of, you're not going to find everybody that can just do the same job, and if you do, you end up with just a clone army of individuals. It just doesn't work like that.
I think also, like Jess said, you are still trying to work out what you enjoy, what you do, and what you don't like. Don't you?
I don't think you even know what you're good at.
No,
until you start work. I don't mean that in a...
No, you don't, do you?
You can do as many qualifications. You can do as many qualifications as you want and pass as many exams as you want. That makes you academic. What you're actually good at in a working environment and what drives you. What's your why? We can go all deep if you want. But in the sense, but what, I'm not going to ask you now because I won't embarrass you, but I meant it more in the sense of what gets you out of bed in the morning, what really, I don't know, fires your engine and what makes you excited to come into work. And again, you're not going to be excited every day to come into work. It doesn't work like that. It's not a magical kingdom we've created where it's all fun all the day. Some days are going to be bloody hard and you'll leave in tears, but that doesn't mean you hate your job. No. It just means you've had a tough day maybe, but you're learning from it. So
sometimes that's the best. Because I like the struggle, and then when you finally peak and you break through that problem, that's satisfying for me.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So I want the barriers to break through.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to go through a bit of struggle to get through it, aren't you?
Yeah, you don't grow though, do you, without that struggle?
We're going all David Goggins here.
Yeah, we are.
But in the sense, you've got to sacrifice, and you've got to suffer and go through a bit of pain to actually grow as the individuals want to be. I suppose let's get back to the core of what we're saying here. So you're applying for a job, you enter a new working environment. What immediately is ticking boxes for you in terms of happiness? And you can use BDB as an example or anything else, you're not going to offend me. So in the sense of what I'm curious to kind of maybe discuss before we kind of close out would be, what do you look for in an employer, and what could employers do differently or better to enhance your happiness in the workplace? Because I think for anybody who's listening or watching, if there is anybody listening or watching, and from an employer perspective, I I think we spend a lot of time second guessing, and that's why we just ask you. But we spend a lot of time second guessing what is it that makes you tick, and I think that's why you've seen this swell of people whacking bars and slides and ball pools and all this BS that goes around the edges, and most of the agencies are doing this. And so, what is it that would attract you, and then attract or retain you, I guess, in the sense of a networking environment, and then what could people do better?
So in my interview that I had here, when Ollie and Celine interviewed me, obviously, like I said, like the salary wasn't really an issue.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to grow, and they said, we've got what you've been talking about.
Yeah.
I was looking to do more like analytical work.
Yeah.
And they said, we've got a range of work we can cater to you, and we'll like see whether the role will sort of develop with you. And I really liked that because I felt like the role was more being morphed around me rather than, like you said, just getting a bum on a seat and off to work. So I liked the opportunities, I guess, that you provided.
Yeah.
So that's something I definitely have helped for.
Awesome. Yes.
I think if you're going into being retained in a job, I like the fact that, using BDB as an example, you're not stuck in one place. Like we've gone through today, you can try loads of different things, but you can progress at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is a big benefit for me, I think.
Because that's the confusing. When I used to work at PwC, we used to do cycles of experience. That's what we used to call it. So you'd go in and you'd do like 6 months in this department, 6 months in that department. After you'd done 3 years, to be clear, of qualifying and getting your exam results and developing all that kind of stuff. So you had to like get to a level, then you had freedom to kind of go out and spread your wings a bit and work out what you were good at. And I suppose, I don't know, I've always got that in my head here that we're trying to offer that here in a way. So if you turn around at your next appraisal or quarterly review or whatever and say, right, actually I really want to have a go in a creative services team or something, it wouldn't be like, oh, sorry, Conor, we haven't got that role. It's kind of, okay, cool. Let's try to. I can't never make any guarantees, but we're certainly trying or building a plan of how we could get you that flex to kind of do that, I guess. How about yourself?
So one of the biggest things for me, and I see that a massive benefit here at BDB, but I very rarely see it in other businesses, training.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think we've got it perfect at BDB. I think it's damn good.
It's expensive.
But it's
I'm just saying, it's really expensive. So I think that's why you end up going down because for me, the training route, the best thing we can do is bring in external people. Because there's one thing, us training internally, and I think we do a reasonable job of that when they're in. So every 2 weeks, we try and have an internal training session, maybe Eureka, we have knowledge sharing, we have all sorts of stuff. But that's hard because people are only as engaged as they ever want to be. Like, let's be honest, I'm not naive enough. So when you're not sat there, you've turned up and you're sitting there having a cake and watching the presentation or whatever. But in reality, when we bring in the external speakers, I think that strikes more of a chord with people because it's like all the outside world's coming, what's actually happening in the big bad world out there.
But I think we do it well.
But we just priced up a training session. The guy was in yesterday. It's $15,000.
Yeah.
So and that's a one-off 5-day course. Like it's ridiculous. So, and we'll do it. And we'll get better for it, but it takes a lot of drive and commitment to do it as an employer.
But that's one of the biggest things that I think BDB provide, and also what they do with the apprentices, all that kind of stuff. Which I think when you're choosing an employer or when people are choosing an employer, employees don't get grilled often enough on, well, what training I'm going to be given. I know from.
It's give and take, isn't it? I don't know what you guys do. It's give and take, isn't it? If you guys you want to learn, great. We'll support you as much as you want to. The difficulty is when you've got people that aren't that engaged, say they want to, and then you spend a load of money on them, and then they bugger off anyway and go and get another job for a $1,000 pay rise or something, which is just frustrating.
Frustrating. But that would be my thing.
But that, like the environment and the team that we have, they make you want to do better.
Yeah.
So like in my department, I see the skills I need to progress. And I will make effort outside of work time to train on the weekends. I don't have to do that.
I've heard you've been doing a few secret courses.
But
I think that's really good though.
That's awesome. To be commended. That really is, because that is that's more the Insta quote, because you enjoy doing it, therefore you're doing it.
Like you guys have made me want to do that. Like I would have had like a bit of an inkling to go down that route anyway. But I've seen where I want to go because of work and the people who nurture me, and I want to do better. So I do stuff outside of work. So you guys sort of inspire me to do better.
That's good. Well, that's what we're trying to.
It's cute.
We are trying to. Okay. Any tips for any? What would you be your best tip for a candidate So a candidate, some of the new grads going for a job, what are the pitfalls or what are things to look out for in an employee?
Don't get distracted by all the glitters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
it could be masking things.
Yeah. Same. Different.
I think it's definitely very similar.
Yeah.
I think as well, just concentrate on more the environment instead of how dressed up it is,
Yeah.
especially the people.
I always say to people speak to some of the team.
Yeah.
If you really offer a
Exactly.
job somewhere, then but speak or walk the floors and see what the vibe's like in the office, because you get a different vibe about walking around here if you're
Well, I think go on
Confident
to
in
LinkedIn or wherever it is and try and contact some of the previous employees to ask, because I think it's all right. Sometimes
maybe not some of the previous if
Yeah, they
they've
might be
Yeah.
fired.
bulleted.
But I would ask previous employees. You can't, but don't take it too seriously. But previous employees sometimes give you they can give a bad insight, but sometimes can give us an honest insight. So
Yeah.
I think that if you, and also there's that review site now, isn't there? On is it called something?
Glassdoor.
Glassdoor.
Oh yeah.
Do a little bit of research into the business, and I think one of the biggest things I would do is see how liquid they are. Do some proper research into. It's all right having all these things. That's a good thing about BDB. The liquid, the investing training, they do all the things right, tick all the boxes. But there's plenty of employees out there who don't, and I think just spend a little extra time doing a bit of research even before you go to interview. So if you've got concerns, make sure you raise those concerns.
Also, a big thing as an employer, I think, of supporting people when they do move on.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing we've done quite well here. For the people that have left where we don't really want to lose them.
Yeah.
There's a handful. I always say that, but there's a handful of people that we didn't really want to go, but you understand why they're going, you understand the opportunities that they're going for, and you should support them on that next stage, not cut ties, be bitter, and fall out with everybody. And I think you see too many employers doing that as well. They take it personally, and it's really hard not to take it personally. That's something I'm learning. But in the sense of it's hard not to take it personally when somebody leaves your company. But
Ending things on a good slate though will make them just want to come back if things aren't.
I think so. You said the door's always open. I'd say it's ajar for most people. But no, it's a really interesting topic. Topic. Anything else anybody else wanted to add on that one?
I think we've done a good job.
Yeah.
Good. You happy with that, Sam? Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Lovely. So, what would you do if podcasts can be found on all the main channels?
So make sure, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you click notifications, because that means that every time we launch a podcast, and also on YouTube, we see it live on YouTube, you get a notification. That'd be great.
Leave us any comments, suggest any topics. Connor, shameless plug it.
Yeah, make sure to check out our podcast, the 99p, but Gen Z ain't got a problem. Something like those lines. You'll find it. It's everywhere.
Almost
Literally.
Everywhere, it's prolific. It's
Spotify,
it's viral.
Anchor,
This one we've got a video.
Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, hello. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. You've got
Your
a
first
video
one?
this time
Yeah.
as well.
Our first one, you
video.
see my face, it's probably
And then the
numbers
only
are
other
going to go
shameless plug
down.
will be for our knowledge hub, www.b2bknowledge.com. So this is our content hub to help our clients and prospects navigate the ever-evolving B2B marketing landscape.
Boom.
On that note,
Nice.
thanks very much, everybody.
Over and out.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.